Live on YouTube. Welcome. Live on YouTube. Welcome. YouTube. Get on TikTok.
We just got more information about that.
Hello, everyone. Hello, welcome. How's everyone tonight? I'm just getting set up here. Who's here? Introduce yourself, say hello. Hello, welcome. Just getting started. Tonight we're gonna do spiritual Q&A and spirit guided medium readings. So at some point I will open the door and allow some spirits to come in and give people messages. Right now I'm just setting up. So hello Taylor, how are you tonight? How was your day? I'm well, good. How's the weather over there? Getting snow. Hi, Tara. Oh, it was pleasant? Oh, good. Good, good, good. Over here was so nice. I haven't seen a nice day like that in so long. Whew. Hello, Becoming. How are you? Becoming Casey. Cold. It was actually nice today. You know, Colorado is bipolar. One day it's really nice, and the next day it's really horrible. Hi, OC. Hi from New Mexico. Wow, I love New Mexico. One of my favorite places. I'll be in Santa Fe either in March or April. So I like going to, I always often drive through there when I'm going to Sedona. So where's everybody coming from? We've got New Mexico. I know we've got like Minnesota. We've got Colorado. You coming? Oh, Gathering of Nations. Is that in March? What month is that? I think it was in summer. I've been wanting to go to the Gathering of Nations. I haven't been. I usually go to the March powwow here in Denver. I don't know if you've ever been to that, but that's fun. But I haven't been to it in years because I've been in Sedona. But oh, it's in April? Oh, ooh, maybe, depending on my schedule. I always want to go. I have a friend, she goes every year. She's from Albuquerque. And we've been trying to go together, but our schedules are always not together. It's like the Tucson Gem Show. I wanted to go for the last couple of years and I haven't made it. Yeah, the March Powwow was fun. It was really fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Stella. Sorry. My eyesight is not great. Sorry if I mess up your names. On one computer, I can see your name, and then on the other computer, I can't. So I don't know why. I see a fairy. Oh, thanks. You know how hair is. Some days it's good, some days it's not. So tonight we're going to be doing some spiritual Q&A. So if you have any spiritual questions, I'm going to talk about mediumship, and then I'm going to do a few medium readings, and they're going to be spirit guided. And so if you've been on my lives before, I've been doing lives this week. I made it through my first week of doing lives every night at 8 p.m. And the way I'm going to do these readings is it's going to be spirit. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to connect to the spirits, and I'm going to invite them to come through, and then I'm going to describe who's coming through. And you're going to have the opportunity, if you recognize that spirit, to say, that's my spirit. And then I will go deeper into the reading. Now, the problem with this sometimes is that people don't know their spirits. They don't know, oh, that's my, because this is the problem with mediumship. And this is why group readings are sometimes difficult, is because I will say, this is the spirit coming in, but your mind will be fixated on certain spirits, like your closest people, the people you really want to connect to. Now, if you want to do that, that's a private reading, because in a private reading, I have just you and me together, and I can open that door more clearly and more information will come out. But in a group reading, and especially like an internet reading, it's just kind of a crapshoot on who's going to come in, if you're going to recognize that spirit. So I say, like, be open to it. And then you might think about it later and be like, oh, that was my uncle I haven't thought about in 20 years or something, So sometimes it happens like that. But if you recognize it off the bat, then we'll do it. I think later, because I'm going to keep doing medium readings, probably on Saturdays. That's going to be our medium reading days, and we'll talk about mediumship and all that stuff. What I think will eventually happen is I'll probably pull some people too, and give little messages. And so that kind of stuff. When you're working with the spirit world of like deceased, the ancestor realm, because there's different realms that you go into, and this one is just going to be like the first ancestors, because sometimes we can go into ancient ancestors and do a whole ancestral healing and all that stuff. That's a whole nother thing. But when we're doing spirit readings like this, these are usually going to be the ancestors that you knew somewhere in your life. And when I'm talking about ancestors, what I'm talking about is anyone you have known that has died. Doesn't have to be your mother, brother, father, sister, like, immediate people from your bloodline. It could be friends. It could be work colleagues. It could be people that have crossed your path at any given time. And so that's kind of what it is. It's that's why sometimes you don't remember. You might have known that person 20 years ago, or you may not even know they're dead. I had that happen too. I was doing a reading with a lady, and this man comes in, and I kept describing him, and I was like, he looks like this, he looks like that. You knew him at this certain age. He was a friend. He was a bit, I kept talking and talking and talking, and she wasn't getting it. She kept thinking of her dead ex-husband. And I was like, I don't know. No. If he didn't have a beard like this, it don't fit. That's not him. And then finally, the next day, she contacted me, and she sent a picture, and it was the exact guy. And I was like, yes, that's him. And she said, I didn't even know he died. He died. I knew him when, how many years ago, and I had lost contact with him. But exactly what you said is exactly what he would say to me. So it's like that too. So as I said, with the mediumship readings, it's like that. So you might think of it later. You might be like, oh man, that sounded just like my grandma, or that sounded just like somebody I knew 20 years ago, or something like that. So we'll see. We'll see. This is, like I said, you guys are my guinea pigs on how the mediumship readings are gonna go. Because if I do individual readings, it takes too much energy out of me on this thing, and I don't have the stamina yet for that. If I do one-on-one, or if I do ceremonies, it's different. But on the internet like this, I don't know. I don't know how spirit's gonna do it. So it's kind of a tester tonight. And then later, as I build up stamina and I get ideas and I'm connecting more and more things will come in, and this will evolve and develop. It's like all the lives, they're going to evolve and develop, and they're going to change depending on where I am and what I'm doing. Perfect. Hello. Hi, Soaring Eagle. How are you? So does anybody have any questions about mediumship? We'll start with that. I'm going to prepare an ancestor candle, and we're going to do the candle, and we'll do some readings. You're fine. Hey, Rachel, how's it going? Did you get your stuff figured out with that spiritual protection? So I'm just going to prepare a candle right now and prepare the space, and I invite you to just relax and, think about the healing. Think about in your own life, the people that you've lost, the people that maybe you'd want to connect to, and you hope that they come through for you. Yes, we were out of town. I was without Sage. Uh-oh. You know what you need to get is some spray. Make some spray. How do you tell the difference of who's coming through, like grandma or mother energy? Yeah, that's another problem sometimes, especially if they don't appear as they were when they died. A lot of times spirits will, because I want you to recognize them. So they'll tell me, they'll say this is the grandmother, or they'll say this is somebody of the grandmother generation. So this is someone not mother, but above that. And that's the digging work. I think that's what people don't understand with mediumship reading, is because it's another dimension, is we have to cross a dimension to get a message. And by the time it comes into this dimension, it's almost like a foggy dream. And that's when your skills have to get developed and cultivated, because the clearer you are, the clearer the spirits will come in, and the clearer the connection will be. And, like, that's why I said I don't really know how this is going to work, because we've got it on the internet. So we've got a lot of different things happening interference wise. So, but they'll come in and they'll say hi to whoever needs to get the message. Um, so yeah, that's kind of the basics. But sometimes, it'll just be like so crystal clear. But like with that lady, this guy wasn't closely related to her. It wasn't like her father, her mother, her brother, her husband. It wasn't any of those things. It was a work colleague from 20, like maybe 30 years ago. It was really way back. And she didn't even know he died. So that's the problem. That's a problem. Oh, you had a live that ran long? Oh, no worries. My lives are all on YouTube. If you ever want to hang out on YouTube, come on by. We'll watch them. And I'm working on like on thumbnails, so like after the live, I'll put it up so you kind of know what the theme was and having it more organized that way. So it's not just like a bunch of ramblings on the internet. I had Florida water, but it wasn't working. There were 3 of us, and we ended up needing the house owner to get it together and pick it out. Ooh. What are you talking about, spirit? Do you see spirits with your physical eyes or mind eyes? Both. Both. So if I'm in a reading and stuff, I'm going to obviously see your spirits. But if I'm just walking in my daily life, yeah, I'll see a lot of spirits. And sometimes they scare the heck out of me. Oh, you cried? Oh, I hope it was a good cry, like a releasing cry. Wow. Oh, as an addiction spirit. Yeah, you probably don't want to use Florida water or any kind of alcohol for an addiction spirit. You want to do for that kind of thing, you got to do a feast though. So, we trap them. You can trap them with alcohol and then get them out, but you won't know how to do that unless you know how to do extractions. But an addiction spirit, I would probably burn something real sweet, like sweetgrass. How do you strengthen that muscle? Oh, good. I'm glad it was a good cry. Probably just needed to release that stuff, huh? How do you strengthen that muscle? With meditation, prayer, and training, spiritual training offerings, daily discipline, connecting, not getting scared when they come and scare the hell out of you. No. It takes a lot of time. Just like you go to the gym to work out. I think that's the part a lot of people don't understand is that this is also a muscle. It's a skill. It's something you do enough times, you get better and better and better and better at it. And there's days you're like rocking it and it's awesome and the connection is clear. And then there's other days it's like static. Like reading certain people, a lot of times there's not a whole lot of information that comes forward. And that could just be their connection to you. Or it could be that they're not open to it. It could be you're in a bad mood or you're not in the right frequency. It could be a lot of different things that can affect connection. But that's why when you find somebody who can read you, you generally want to stay with that person unless, something happens. But it's because it's kind of hard to find somebody who can genuinely read you good, because there's a connection that happens. And that connection doesn't happen with everybody. That's why there's so many readers out there, because you might connect to this person and then not connect to this person. It's a spiritual thing. About my dad, he passed in January 2018. Oh, I'm sorry. Isn't that funny how the spirits can come like that? Like his presence must have been like kind of with you that night. Yeah. Yeah, true. Because for me, I know I can't ever find nobody to read me. I haven't had a reading in over a decade. Nobody can read me. Every time I go to, because you have to have that same frequency, that same energy. And that's why, what's beautiful about this earth is there's so many people here doing different stuff, and you can choose. You can choose. depending on what spirits you work on, depending on what spirits they work on. Spirits fight. In the shamanic world, this industry in general, spiritual spirit, like the spiritual industry, I guess, is not a nice industry. People are not nice in this industry. You think they would be, they're not. I live in Sedona. These people are not. They're very competitive, and they go around stealing other people's stuff, and they don't want to do the work, and it's sad. And it's not just like that here, it's like that in Korea too. Okay. Well, we'll find out. If your mom comes in, Kayla, we'll find out. But I'm doing it spirit lit. This is how it's going to be for this reading. And then I will learn from this. And you will give me feedback from this. And we'll see. We'll see. I don't do my readings like everybody does probably on TikTok. I've seen a little bit of what happens here on TikTok. I don't do that. I completely just let the spirit world do what it wants to do. And then I'm just here. And I don't want to answer a bunch of questions. So please don't ask me a bunch of questions. Because it's not what do they call it? Spirit bingo. It's not spirit bingo. This is gonna be all up to whoever is coming through. Have you ever not been able to read somebody? Can a person be blocked? Everyone who has been sent to me, I have been able to read. Now, some people have more I will say to. Like some people, their lives are very simple and they don't actually have a lot of spirits around them. And those readings don't tend to have a lot of information that comes forward. But the information that comes forward is what they need. But then there's some people where just information that's what I'm talking about, that connection. And those people usually end up becoming like lifelong people, like lifelong clients. Like I started doing readings professionally. I've been doing readings since I was 3 years old, but I started professionally doing them in 2010. And at that time, I still have clients that I see from that time that still come to me for readings and sessions, even all these years ago, because the connection was that strong and it's still that strong. And so now, because we've had all this years of experience and trust and connection and we've built it, they're like family. Because when they come to me, I know all their everything. I know their spirits, I know their people, I know what's going on. I know what to give them. I know all their, you build a relationship. And that's all spirit. That's all spirit. Like the spirits know who they need to go to. It's like, I always say it's like this. Like this, your spirits, your ancestors, they want to bring a message to you, right? And then they say, who's going to give the message? And then they'll find that person. They'll find that person no matter the time and distance. I once had a woman, and she would come to me for sessions in Japan, but I didn't know she also lived in LA. And I was doing a workshop in Japan, and she happened to be in Japan at that time. And she came to my workshop. I was on my way to Kyoto, and I'm in Tokyo Station, completely like overwhelmed because there's like millions of people trying to get somewhere. I don't speak Japanese. There's I don't know how many trains. And all of a sudden in Kyoto, in the Tokyo train station, somebody says, "Songbird." And I looked and it was her. And she was on her way to the same destination. And then after that, she said, "I want to work with you in Sedona. I'm going to try to come to see you in Sedona." And when I went back to Sedona, her father appeared to me and he said, "Will you please help my daughter?" And so when I told her, I said, I met your father and I described him, and she goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe that. How did you know what he looked like that?" Because he had a disability that was very prominent. And she's like, "Yeah, that's exactly my father." And she said, "You're my father's type." She said in when he was living, he liked women that were always laughing and fun. And she said, that's his type. He would totally like you. And so that's what I mean. Like, even in the living world, they would like us, and the deceased world, they still like, they find their type. They find who will bring the message. And then she ended up coming a lot of times to Sedona, and we did all kinds of stuff. So yeah, that's how it goes. I connect with you. Oh, I'm so glad we connected. Bingo. I walked in on accident. I guess I need to be here. There are no accidents, right? Welcome. Sort of how your hairdresser knows all your secrets and life story. Right. You know how it's hard to find a good hairdresser? Yeah. Hello, Esperanza. Yeah, so that's just kind of how it goes. That's like a general rundown, you know. And I think for me too, like with readings and stuff, especially, I'm gonna get set up here. And I think the problem too, and this is why I'm kind of taking my time and explaining. We're not just gonna jump in, and I'm not gonna do 100 readings and all that stuff. We could go somewhere else for that. But is that when you're going for a reading, it doesn't matter any reading, you have to go open, and you have to not be desperate. And that's a hard thing about mediumship too, is because a lot of times people come to mediumships when they're at the very bottom. They're in grief, they're in pain, they so badly want to connect to a certain loved one, and there's a lot of anxiety and pressure for that specific, and that's what can also block the connection. Because in a group reading, especially, because you've got like 1,000 spirits pushing in, and it's going to be the one that's the loudest. It's going to be the one that's the pushiest. It's going to be the one that really, can connect. And that's going to also depend on you and your frequency and them and them. And it's like, if you're too desperate, it's a little harder. It's like those love readings. You ever notice when people start doing love readings, there's a lot of desperation too. Sometimes people will pop in here and say, is so-and-so going to leave their wife, or is this, that, and they're so obsessed and desperate. That can block your connection because you're only thinking one way. And that's why I said it's hard to do mediumship readings sometimes, because people are only thinking this way, but spirit is all this way. There's millions and millions of spirits. And so that's the thing. Oh, there goes my Kindle. In our way, we have many members, and each of us have our gift in the circle. Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has a gift. Not all mediums are psychics, but not all psychics are medium. And then not even all shamans. Some shamans don't connect to ancestors. They do other stuff. Everybody has different stuff. Some people are just oracles, and they just connect to prophecy and stuff like that. So everybody has something a little different. For me, I really didn't think about the medium thing because I always did it. It was just something I did. It was just part of who I am. And then it was my mom who was like, I think you're a medium. And she goes, in Korea, she was telling me that's what Korean people look for, is the ones that are mediums. And so for me, I was like, oh, really? She goes, yeah, you don't describe yourself properly. And she's like, you need to call yourself a medium. And I was like, yeah, but I do other stuff besides this medium stuff. And she's like, yeah, but you have to show people that, because she said people are looking for that. Hi, Horace. My cat Horace is here. My other cat. You know what? Horace, you can't come to the fire. So yeah, spirit healer. Some people just work with the spirits. Everybody's different. And so it's kind of funny because I never even thought about it. Sometimes it takes somebody else to tell you. Because she's like, I don't think everybody can do that. I was like, they can't. I thought everybody did that. I didn't think that was anything unusual. I thought it was just the usual. All right, I'm preparing our candle. I'm putting a lot of rose because I want to bring in a higher frequency. And then another thing that can happen in mediumship readings that does sometimes happen, especially depending on your connections to certain people, is that other people's, like, that are close to you, their spirits will come in. So for example, if you're married and you have like a deceased mother-in-law or father-in-law or something like that, those spirits can also come in. And people say, but they're not related to me. And I'm like, yes, they are related to you, especially if you're in the same house. You know what I mean? Or were in the same house. Like one time I was talking to a lady and she asked me, she goes, is there any spirits helping me? And I said, okay, let me see. And I said, there is a spirit named this name. And she said, oh my God. She started crying. She said, that's my ex-mother-in-law. And I always loved her so much. And I felt so bad when I divorced her son because I lost that relationship and I would never thought she was in the spirit world helping me. So you just never know. One of the mini readings you described one of my husband's ancestors. See? See? That's how it goes. Your husband's ancestor popped in. Sometimes their ancestor is stronger than your ancestor, you know, because their energy, it's a frequency thing. You know, I noticed, especially in group readings, if you have like European ancestors, they come in strong. So that's the thing, you have to be open. Okay, so that's my spiel for beginning this. You have to be open and just be open. Okay, and the next thing I'm going to say before I light our candle and we begin is the information has to fit. Don't try to make it fit. Okay, don't try to make it fit. If I say, okay, I have a woman, this, I'm going to list the characteristics. All of it has to fit, not part of it. You can't say, well, kind of, sort of, because then we try to make it fit. Okay, it has to all fit. And if it doesn't all fit, it's a no. It's like one time I was doing a group reading and I was describing this woman, pushy spirit, very pushy, was pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was like, somebody in here, this is your grandmother. And nobody was saying anything. I was like, this is your grandmother. And the lady was trying to make it fit. She goes, well, and I said, did she come from Europe? Was this, you know, and I kept going and she's like, no, you know, it wasn't. Because then I said, did she have 2 daughters? And she said, no. And then finally the lady goes, well, that's my grandma, but I don't really like her, you know. That's another thing. If you really don't like them, they don't care. Okay. No one pays attention on his side of the family, so I feel like they were happy to help. Yeah, see, nobody was paying attention. They're like, we're here too. Hi. I shared your live on our live so you can help them. Oh, thank you so much. Welcome, everybody. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to light our ancestor candle. And I invite you to think about your ancestors, to give gratitude and thanks to your ancestors. And again, for those of you who just joined in, I'm going to be bringing in spirits, your ancestors. And I'm going to describe the ancestors who are coming in. And if that's your ancestor and you know it's your ancestor and all the information fits, then you say, that's me. Okay. And then once you say that's me, I'll connect more. If nobody claims the ancestor, nobody knows it, nobody remembers it, it's too far back, whatever, then that will move on. Okay. So I'll give you a few minutes and then we're going to move on. Okay. That's how it's going to go. And I'll do it until I'm ready to not do it. What if we don't know? Yeah, if you don't know, then you don't know. See, that's the problem with group medium readings. If we do it one-on-one, then I'll keep digging, you know. But in a group reading, especially I don't know you, I don't see you, you're on a screen, it's kind of harder to do that, right? And so this is how I'm doing it tonight. And then as my lives continue, and if I decide to keep doing this, I'll probably change it. But I decided to start this way because I want it to be completely spirit led. I don't want to choose somebody and then start digging, because then that takes a lot of time and energy from me. So what I want to do is just let them naturally come in, as just that's easier for me. And also then that's completely spirit led. Okay. And as I've described, this is my first time doing this in this type of setting. I do these one-on-one, and I do them in groups and ceremonies where it's more focused. So this is how I've been guided to do it for this TikTok and YouTube live. Okay, is there any questions before I start? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call in the spirits. I'm going to light the candle, and then I'm going to bring in some spirits. Okay. And if you don't know, you don't know. You're not going to know because it could be your spirit and you won't know, because maybe, like I said earlier, it could be too far gone. It could be anything. It could be any reason. And maybe that spirit, whatever they had to share was really not relevant. I don't know. I don't know how that really works, but I'm going to get my pen and paper here. So what I'm going to do when I'm doing the reading is I'm going to close my eyes and connect. And then I'm going to probably write some stuff down because I don't want to forget it. Okay. All right. So I invite you to just relax, because that's the first part of a reading, is you just relax. Okay? Don't get all anxious. Don't get all nervous. Don't put questions like, about your personal situation. Don't give me any information, okay? Don't ever do that to a medium. Don't give them information, okay? Because we have to have it as pure as possible. I don't want to know anything. There's my cat. I don't want to know anything, okay? Hi, Peaky. Okay, Peaky's here. He sat through thousands of readings. All right, so take a nice deep breath in and out. And this is our ancestor candle. I want you to close your eyes and focus and relax. Peaky. I also have some healing water here. Okay. So as we light the candle, we're going to breathe in and out and relax. And we're going to ask the spirit world to now join us in this sacred live together, blessing each and every person who is here tonight as we ask for the divine messages to come through, and just breathing in and out. As we open the door to the ancestral realms, to the spirit realms, we ask for spiritual protection, and we ask that only the best and highest spirits now come through for the healing messages for everyone here watching. We ask for the ancestors' help, guidance, healing, and love to bless this presence, the presence of everyone here, and to bring in divine healing, clarity, focus, and strength. May the messages that are received today go to the hearts of everyone watching, and specifically to those who will receive their private messages and information from their ancestors. And so just connecting to the energy, connecting to the candle, breathing in and out. And you're just going to take a moment to connect. Yeah, if it resonates, put hearts, give no information on the list asked is what. Okay, so good question. I'm going to connect. to the spirits. There's going to be one spirit I pick. If that spirit is yours, how will you know? Because all the information will fit. And you will have some kind of energy reaction. It could be chills. It could be loss of voice. It could be something. But that's what I mean. This is where it could get a little tangled, is because you might say, yes, that's me, but then I'll ask, is it this, and that? All the information has to fit, not just some of it, all of it. And I'm going to ask for specific information so that we know that's exactly what it is. Okay. Does that make sense? And so if multiple people say that's me, then we're going to have to, see who it really is. And then I'll know. Because if you say that's me and then the spirit says, no, that's not you, it's not you. Okay. So I'll know. Don't worry. Okay. Any questions before I begin? And I need you all to take a nice deep breath in and out. There's a lot of healing going on here. Let's take it. P22. Better. Okay, so the first spirit coming through is a father. He had a short stature and he was overweight. He had a big belly and bald. And he died around 44. If that resonates with you, if you feel that's your father, just say that's me. So father, short, bald, died around 44, dark hair, and he wasn't completely bald. He just was this bald. That's you, Alexandria? Okay, let's see. He died at 44, Alexandria? Around 44, chubbier. He died around 44. Did he have bald and hair around, like, what do they call that? I don't know what they call that. But where you're bald and then you have just hair here. Just before 45, he died. Okay, let me see. Okay, see, this is a problem. We have two of them. Okay, let's see. No, it's Alexandria. It's Alexandria. Okay. So his message for you, Alexandria, is that one of his things is that he says he feels like he did not get a chance to see some of the things that you always wanted him to see for your life, but he has been, I feel like the way he says it is he's been cautiously around you. He doesn't want to intrude or be in your field a lot because he doesn't want you to grieve or miss him. But what he said is he's cautiously around you. And so what that means is like you may feel his presence around you at times, but it's very gentle and very soft. I feel like in his life, as much as his presence was like, he kind of stood out. Like if he stood out by the way he looked, but he's saying like he was more of a gentle spirit. And he's saying he's around you and he's more of a gentle spirit when he's around you. And you didn't miss out on the things like those big life event moments. Okay, what he's telling me is he wants you to let go of the anger that you have. He's saying you have a lot of anger within you, and he wants you to find peace and happiness and to know that you're on the right path. And he says sometimes you question if you're a good person or not. And he said you're a really good person. Don't ever think you're not a good person. And he said, it's okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be a perfectionist. Okay. Did you have any questions? I'm gonna keep his spirit here a little longer if you want to ask him a direct question. You're welcome. Okay. Let me see if he has anything else to say if you don't have a question. Okay. He's saying within the next 3 days, he's going to bring you a penny, and you'll know that. You'll know that it's him. Can he forgive you? Hmm. Really, he's out telling me there's nothing to forgive. That's why he's saying let go of the anger and the hurt and the shame and the guilt, because there's nothing that could have been changed. There's nothing that could have been changed. And you need to help. He wants you to know that everything that happened the way it was meant to happen, and don't try to go back in time. Only move forward with your life. And there's something about the month of February coming up that is very pertinent and important for you. And he's saying that it's around the date of the 27th, 28th. And he's going to help you with that. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else. I don't know. The way that he describes it to me, Alexandra, is that you're just so beautiful to him. And he wants you to see your own beauty as well. And so I feel like the reason why he comes in tonight for you is for you to close the chapter of the past and now move forward. Yeah. And just move forward with your life and give gratitude and thanks for the time you had together. Because he's saying it was short, it wasn't a long time together. And that's kind of the hardest part. Okay. So that I hope that helps you. And thank you for allowing your father to come in. Okay, so these are all spirit guided. I don't know who's gonna pop in. And as I said, for those of you who are new, the way that I'm doing the readings tonight is I'm bringing a spirit in. And if that's your spirit, you will say, that's me. But all the information has to fit, not part of it, not some of it, not half of it, not I'm hoping for one of it to fit, okay? It has to all fit. The description of the way the person looks, the age, whatever comes in that they give me, it all has to fit, okay? And if a few, like last time, a few people, I will know which one it is, okay? You're welcome, Alexandria. You're welcome. I hope that helps you. It's not easy when we end on bad terms. It's not easy when we look back and say we have regrets, or, you know, when somebody dies, we always have regrets. We always have regrets because we take each other for granted in the living world. We, especially father, you know, like my father died last year. And, you know, when he died, yeah, I have a lot of regrets. I'm like, damn, I wish I did this or that, or I wish this, you know, you want to change the past and you can't. You can't. And they don't want you to, because that was what we call your palcha, your destiny. That was how it was supposed to happen. That was how it was supposed to happen. And you were young and you were doing these things, and you know, whatever. He knows that. It's okay. Yeah. You're welcome. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna clear the space and I'm gonna do the next one. So again, spirit guided, all the information has to fit, okay? I'm gonna have to say that a lot, I think, because like I said earlier before, and I know a lot of you are just tuning in right now, is we want to connect to the people we want to connect to, but it has to fit. All the information has to fit. And I'm asking for specific information. So if it's, you know, and if nobody recognizes that spirit, then we move on, because a lot of times people, you know, won't recognize that one. I'm trying to bring in the closest ones, okay? I'm bringing in the closest ones. I'm stopping on spirits I feel like closer. Okay. All right, so let's just breathe in and out. And that one's good. Okay. I don't know. That's not a mediumship reading. I'm sorry. But anyways, all right, so I'm just gonna concentrate now. Okay, this woman coming through now is blonde. She is someone's aunt, and the number 53 is important. It could be 53 when she died, or 53 is the year she was born in, or something with 53. But she's blonde and she's on the same generation as like your aunt. So if she's not your physical aunt, like a blood related aunt, then she would be your like an aunt, somebody you grew up with. What do you call those? External family. But 53 is important. So she's either born in 1953 or she was 53 when she died. She died of natural causes or like a sickness or illness. I feel like she would have went in and out of hospitals. And she had blondish hair that may have turned more whitish as she aged. So if that fits, if you can recognize that as your ancestor, then you say, that's me. And this is an aunt, or like an aunt, like a, you know what I mean? She had one son in her life. Could it be a cousin? No, it's an aunt. It's someone's aunt. She's blonde. She either was 53 or 1953. And she had one son who is an adult. He appears to be in his 40s. She only had one son. It might be you, Rachel. She had a G name, like Gertrude or Gertie or something, something in her name was a Ger. Did your aunt have a Ger name? Okay, let's see something. Let me see something else. She's a little taller. I don't know. I want to say like 5'7", 5'8". Okay. And the candle's going crazy. So if nobody recognizes her, you know, she could be like I said, not a blood related aunt, but somebody like an aunt. So what's like an aunt? A friend, just something like, you know, not a friend. You know, like what's an aunt? What's an aunt? You know, somebody who's a little older than you, who would give you like advice and stuff like that, who was like an aunt. Yeah, she's saying aunt. Okay, I'm stuck on the aunt thing. Did she have a G in her name, Rachel? Like a godmother? Yeah, maybe a godmother. Yeah, like that. You know, somebody who's like that, like an aunt though, like a. But the information has to fit. You don't know her middle name. Okay, let me see. So let's say blonde aunt, 53, 1953, 5'7", 5'8" height, died of natural causes, has one son in his 40s. Man, I don't know why my pins are not working. Let me see if I can pull more information. If she's not close enough to anybody to know her, then we'll just move on. Sorry, my pin is all of a sudden not working. Son in the 40s. No, my mom's best friend or sister. I called auntie. Oh, okay. What did I just say? She didn't die of natural causes. Son in the 40s. Okay. Okay, let me see, Rachel. Somebody. Let's go. I feel like okay, she's not a strong connection. So let me see if I can get her back in. Is the son blonde, Rachel? She's showing me her son is blonde, in his 40s. And he was little. Yeah, like a little boy, because she's showing me a little boy with blonde hair. That was her son. Are you still in connection with her son? You are? Okay. Because I feel like I'm sorry to say it, but she's not really interested in you, Rachel. She's more interested in her son. So it could be that she's coming in to give her son a message. Okay, so can you get a pen and paper and write this down? That makes sense. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about with spirits, you know. They find any which way to get to who they want to get to. Okay. Okay, you ready? All right, let me ask her, okay? Because she's really obsessed with her son now. She's like showing me when he was a baby and this and that. And, you know, she's just like showing me this little boy. Okay, he's not even here. All right, I'm going to ask her what she wants to say. Okay, she's saying to tell him to stop drinking. I don't know if he's drinking or what he's doing, but she's saying he needs to stop drinking. I think she's acknowledging that with her passing, he suffered a lot, and she wants him to know that she's at peace where she is and that she misses him so much, and she knows that he misses her, and that he needs to find healthy ways to cope with his stress and his depression. She was blonde, 53 or 1953, something around 53, 5'7" or 5'8", died of natural causes, and she has a son who's blonde and in his 40s. But that's the message. Does that make sense? That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's what she said. And she said, thank you. Thank you for giving that message. Because she don't want to see him suffer. Yeah. To make sure he knows it's for him. Okay, I'm gonna ask her. She's saying that she's gonna send him a message, and it's gonna be like this is gonna be in the dream time. She's gonna come to him in the dream time. She's gonna show herself, and that's gonna be her way of acknowledging her presence. And then she also says, "This is the vision I'm having for him. He's just sitting around sad and depressed, like he's on the couch." That's how she shows me him. That's how she's showing me. That's why she's coming through. That's what she wants him to get off that couch. Yeah, and she's gonna come to him in a dream. But the problem with him is like she tries to connect to him, but he just keeps avoiding it or negating it, or like he's so numb. It's hard for her to come through. Let's see if there's anything else she wants to say. Yeah, that's the best thing she's saying. I'm really worried, but let me see if she'll bring in more specifics. I feel like what she's showing me is like when he was a young child, he was so bright and so light. And then now she's saying he's so dark and not in the light. And that's really what she's really trying to highlight and get through. And she said, he may not believe you. When you give him this message, he may not believe you. He may think this is all hokey, but she's just trying any which way because she said he's really suffering. And she wants him to go back to how he was when he was a child, like bright again. Yeah, the evidence is the 53 or 1953. There's a 53 connection. And the next evidence is she died of natural causes. She was in and out of hospitals though. And there's an either a birthday or a relevance to the month of April. So you can write it down. You can convey it. And you can see that's all she's but the real message is that she wants to get that in, is that he's not in a good place. And he's not sharing that. Died in April. See? She died in April. I'm gonna go and look at any comments I might have missed. Okay. Is there anything else, Rachel? Because I feel like she's leaving now. Okay, so if I missed a comment, was there? You're welcome. But you see how that happened? It's like it's like sometimes you have to dig a little because it's not somebody here, but it's somebody connected to somebody here. That's how spirits work. And she was pushy. She wanted to come in because she wanted to bring in a message. See, you almost missed it. But see how spirit made sure you don't miss it? That's how it goes. Yeah. And yeah, lucid fairy, I have always had mediumship. I've always been a medium. When I was a child, I would always see stuff. And I think most people actually have this gift, but when they're little, people say, no, that's not there, or you're seeing things, or, whatever. But I was lucky enough that I have a family who understands this gift. And so, they didn't like it. They don't like it. But, they understand it. Okay. I'm going to clear the space and then I'll move on. And for those of you who are just joining in, I'm doing spirit guided mediumship readings. But the way I'm doing them is I'm connecting to a spirit, and then we're being a detective and finding out whose spirit that is. And if multiple people come in, then we'll dig further and further. We just keep digging until we find the right person. And so far, we've been hitting it. We got 2 people. But like I showed you, one of them was not even here. One of them is connected to somebody here. And that happens a lot. One time, these ladies came in to see me in Sedona, and the spirit that came in was connected to one of the girls. And it wasn't anybody, and it was really horrific things happen. And everybody's like, what in the world is she talking about? And then come to find out it was her friend's family that had died that were coming in. So that's kind of how it goes. We can't control it. It just happens. And this is the way I was guided to do it. I may later pick people or something like in other lives, but I'm testing this out here, like this style, to see what style I like to do. And every Saturday I'm going to be doing medium readings. Okay? And they'll be different ones. Some of them will be ancestral healing. Some of them will be like this type. So I do all kinds of mediumship readings. I do all kinds of spirit work. So it's always going to be different. Oh, I love hearing you. It is very peaceful. Oh, thank you. Well, welcome. Bang myself. All right. I'm going to stretch a little and get some new vibration coming in. Okay. And I'm going to take some water. And I invite everybody to take a nice deep breath in and out. Because I know a lot of people, they want to connect to their people. They want to know. And hello, YouTube. Hello, my 4 people on YouTube. And if you ever want to watch any of my lives after, I have them on YouTube too. And I put them on there mostly for the replay. But I'm hoping to grow YouTube too. So if YouTube grows, then we have two different things. But I can't record here on TikTok, so I use YouTube. Okay. So let's take a nice deep breath in and out, and I'm going to go to the next person. And we'll hopefully not have to dig so much. Okay, the next spirit I'm going to connect to, I'm going to bring her in a little stronger. I have to get a better pin though. Sorry, my pins are all not working here. I don't know why. Okay, this grandmother. Oh, it's called SongBirdGrandMother. That's my YouTube. You can look up all one word, SongBirdGrandMother. If you put an at SongBirdGrandMother, you're gonna find it on YouTube. Okay, sorry, this pin is not working. Okay, so I have a grandmother. Of course, everybody's say that's my grandma. So I'm gonna bring in more information here. Okay, this one is grandmother, age 67. White hair, she's a white lady, and she has a significance of Detroit. So either she was born in Detroit, lived in Detroit, had a connection to Detroit, and has a connection to the month of May. Either she was born in May or died in May. So, oh, maybe it's the paper, maybe. So, if that connects to you, let me know. Grandmother, 67, white hair, white lady, Detroit, something about this city of Detroit and the month of May. And like I said, all of that has to fit. So think about a grandmother. So it could be your grandmother, it could be your spouse's grandmother, it could be a grandmother, this it could be a lot of different things. But if that sounds familiar, if you know a grandmother had connection to Detroit, either born in Detroit, died in Detroit, I feel like she died in May, 67, white hair, whitish hair. And she was white. She was a Caucasian lady. I feel like she was always put together. She always was put together. She had as she says, she had it going on. Okay. She's the kind of lady who dressed nice and put herself together. And she died in her sleep. So if that's not connecting, then I'm going to move on. And maybe later you'll think about it. But if it's not connecting right now, then I'm going to move on to the next one. Oh, hello, Michelle. And also, if maybe it's somebody on YouTube. Let me look. If that'll connect to anybody on YouTube, I'm going to say it one more time. grandmother, 67, white hair, white complexion, either born in Detroit or had a connection to the city of Detroit. I feel like she died in May, but she had a May connection and she died in her sleep. Is she giving me a name? Let me see. She has a B name. So something like Betty, Beatrice, but something B. And the B could be the first or the last. Okay. So I didn't name. Yeah. Or she could have went by B or something. Something a B. It's a B name. But those are all the clues. Grandmother, 67, whitish hair. It's like blondish, whitish. It's like not completely white. Really nice skin too. Like she took really good care of herself. She looked, she's slender. She took good care of herself. She had a connection to the city of Detroit. Died in May. Died in her sleep with a B name. Nobody knows this grandmother. Okay. If not, I'm gonna keep going. Okay. Sorry, grandmother. And she could be connected to somebody who's connected to, and it's just not all clicking. See, this is the thing about it, is that, it could be somebody, who's connected to them. It's SongBirdGrandMother. It's the same name as my TikTok show, the TikTok. You can click on the link in my bio and all my handles are there too. All right, so we're gonna move on. Sorry, Grandma, nobody knew her. Okay, now it's Kate. Okay, this one is a man. He's Mexican. He has a mustache. He's shorter. He gave me the word Tito, so that has a connection. He had a belly. He was a little shorter with the belly. And the month of February is significant for him. And he's saying Tijuana. So either he was born in Tijuana, from Tijuana, or had a connection to Tijuana. So if that's connecting to anybody, then that's I'm going to connect to this spirit. Mexican man, mustache, short, Tito, belly, month of February in Tijuana. That's you? Tito, was Tito an uncle? Or okay, let's see. All right, let me connect to him. Okay, he's saying hi, mija. That was the first thing he said. Oh, in February. And he was really like smiling and jovial. That's the first thing he says, and he says hi, mija. Okay. Okay. He said, what are you doing with your life? Yeah. I feel like your uncle had a sense of humor. So he's laughing and he's smiling and he's like, what are you doing with your life? How are you? Like, kind of, I think it's more like, not like, what are you doing with your life? But it's more like, how are you? What are you doing with your life? Are you okay? He's kind of checking in on you. And so the energy he's giving me is that he always looked in on you or checked in on you or wanted to know about your life and wanting to know about how you are and what you're up to and, that kind of stuff. And I feel like you may miss that. You might have you have a missing connection of that, like, because he was always like so involved, or, he just wanted to know how you were. And he still want to know, how are you doing? What's going on in your world? That kind of energy. So let me see what the message is for you. Okay, the message he's giving me is telling you, don't be so afraid to take action and steps and go for what you want, because he's saying you're a little hesitant and sometimes you don't trust yourself and you have self-doubt. And he's saying, like, don't be afraid to go for what you want. Don't be afraid to take action and boldness. And he's saying, like, in your family, you're doing a lot of clearing and healing within your family. And sometimes what you want is going to be different than what your family wants. So don't be afraid to take action and steps towards what you want in your life. Make sense? And he's showing me like roses. I don't know if you leave roses for him or you have left roses for him or have a rose connection, something like that. Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about with the roses? Do you leave roses at his, at his place or his site or something? He's acknowledging red roses that you give him. Or he died in February. Okay, that could also be Valentine's Day he's acknowledging. Oh, one of his favorite songs. Okay, there's a rose connection. But I feel like it's also, he died in February, so Valentine's Day is rosas. Okay, yeah, rosas. Yeah, don't be afraid to go for what you want. Okay, he's like, so he's really emphasizing that, and laugh and play and joke. And he's saying, like, he always watches you. He's always going to be like a guardian angel in your life. I feel like in the next few days, you're going to hear a song that he liked, and it's going to be confirmation of this message. Or roses. Well, roses are everywhere, right? But he's saying a song. There's a certain song that he's going to send you, and you'll know that's him. Okay. Did you have any questions before I let him go? Oh. Yeah. Okay, I'll ask him. Please send her a message in the dreams. But he's gonna send you a message in a song. You'll know. But yeah, that's what he comes in to say. It's like, he was always in your life and involved in your life, and he's still there watching and guiding you and wanting the best for you. Yeah. Like, you have a really strong guardian angel on your side now. And that's a good thing. Okay, I finally found a pin that works, and it's a marker. All right, I'm gonna do like two more. I'm gonna do two more readings. You're welcome. Your uncle had such a happy spirit. I feel like he was like so supportive too. All right, so I'm just gonna clear the energy. For those of you who are just joining in, I'm doing spirit guided readings. The way that these readings are working is that I'm connecting to a spirit, and then if all the information fits, then I'll bring in a message for you. If it doesn't fit and nobody knows the spirit, we move on. Because sometimes the spirits are not even related to you. Or like I said earlier, you're wanting mom, dad, this, that person to come in, you forget all these other people. And that happens a lot too. So you see, but for this one, she recognized him right away. So that's good. It's closer connection. That's why. And I'm going to ask them to bring in closer connections. But like I said, when we do group readings, the problem always is that the pushiest, loudest spirit will come in. Okay. But it's the one that I will. So this is the way I connect. I'll go in and it's like all these spirits. Okay. And then I would like target one. It'll be the one that reveals itself. It'll be the one that, is like clearest. And that's the one I'm going to bring in. Okay. And that's why it's like a crapshoot. We don't know. It's like a game. But for me, this is less time consuming and draining than if I went into the chat and tried to look and dig and like that. And later, as I build up more stamina and understand this technology better, I will do that. I will, do more private stuff. But for now, this is how I'm doing it so I can conserve my energy because I need a lot of energy in my daily life. Okay. All right. So just concentrate, focus, breathe in and out, that kind of thing. Okay, so this one might be a little more difficult, but we'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. Okay. We'll give it a go. Because this man who's coming in is a Black man, African American, older man. He's telling me he had complications with diabetes or he struggled with diabetes in his life. He's looking for his son. And this is where we might have some issues because I don't know if his son is actually on this live, but he's looking for his son. So somebody on this live is probably connected to his son and may have a connection such as, what am I talking about? Like a friend or a work colleague or something. That's why I said it might be a little more digging because you might know his son because that's who he's looking for. And I told him I'll try to try. There's a significance to 1973, or he was 73 when he died in the month of January. And he was separated from his son. That's what he showed me, was he was separated. That's why he's looking for his son. So if anybody knows this, what I'm talking about, it's an African-American man, complications of diabetes, suffered with diabetes. He's looking for his son, 73 or 1973, January, could have been the year, month he died in. And he was separated from his son. And he's saying, if nobody comes forward, but you will think of it later, because this might be somebody but not know real good. And later you might think about it and say, I saw this live with this girl looking for her, whatever. He's saying, please tell my son that I never wanted to lose him. That's what he's saying. Please tell my son I didn't want to lose him. I'm gonna write this down. I didn't want to lose him, and he fought hard and lost. Okay. Oh, hi, Nicole. Oh, you just got off work. We're just doing spirit guided readings, and we're kind of, we have a spirit looking for his son, but I don't know if anybody's going to connect to this guy. I told him I don't know if anybody's going to connect to him because it's his son, and his son is not on this live, but somebody in this room is connected to his son in some way, shape, and form. It might be a work colleague, it might be a friend, it might be something like that, but it's a African American man. He had problems with diabetes. He was either 73 when he died, or he has a connection to 1973. His son might have been born 1973. Okay, the connection to 73 though, and then he died in January. Okay, and he was separated from his son. That's what he wants. Names, let me see. His name was Darnell or Dar something with a D. So there's a Darnell connection. It could be his son. He's really interested in his son. Okay. But there's a D connection, and the word I heard is Darnell. Yeah. You could ask around, and that's what he's saying. Like, if the person don't come forward, because I told him, I don't know if this person's going to come forward because they may not know your son that well. They might not know about because he's separated in life. He was separated from the son. So his son probably don't really know him that well. But he said, please just give the information out. So I'm doing him a spirit favor. And so if you happen to, come across that, please pass that information along. I feel like that's going to help that person. Okay. Sometimes, and this is what I was talking about earlier, is these spirits push through and they want to, they want to give a message, and they know who's in this room. They know who you're connected to. They know who knows his son. The problem is we don't know. But he asked me, so I just did it. Okay, so that's one. If nobody knows that one, we're going to move on. And I did my work. Okay. But very kind man, had some problems, got separated from his son, and is looking for his son even in the afterlife. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? I always think that's something. He's looking for his son, because that was his biggest pain in life, was that he was separated from his son. It'll clear the energy. I'm gonna do maybe I'll do one or two more, because that one was more of just a message out there. That's sad but beautiful, yeah. And so somebody, you're gonna connect it later. That's why I said with these readings, it's like that. You'll connect it later. It'll be there. And so how are you tonight, Nicole? Where is the afterlife? Is that a realm of most dead people? There are many afterlives. That's the thing. That's the difference between shamans and Western readers. Most people in America who do mediumship readings are reading from a Judeo-Christian perspective, where there's only one afterlife. However, in our trainings, there are multiple places you can go in the afterlife. Multiple places. And the multiple places that you can go determine how easy it is to connect. So most spirits that mediums actually connect to are in between lives, or they're ghosts, or they're stuck or something like that. They're not fully transitioned. because it takes around 3 to 4 years, sometimes longer, depending on how the person died. And like this poor man is looking for his son. And he's not going to go until he finds his son. And so what happens is that in between, like when a person first dies, it's probably the easiest to connect because it's still here almost, they're just like right next door. They're like right there. And that's why a lot of people will have dreams like, oh, I saw him. Like my mom, she had a dream of her father and he was like right there outside the gate. And I've seen that a lot too, where they're just right there because they're not fully transitioned yet. They're not closer to the afterlife. And it takes about 3 to 4 years for them to fully transition if everything goes right. And so there's multiple places and multiple dimensions people can go to. And that's why we have portals or days where we do offerings and stuff, because the veils are much closer and those ancestors can come in more clearly. Oh, you just got done with the party. That's good. What do you mean? How come he cannot find him in spirit? What are your thoughts about a deceased giving a message through dreams? Yeah, they give messages through dreams for healing. And also they want you to know they're okay. Because you know what the number one question people will ask in a medium reading is, are they okay? They're okay. They're in the spirit world. They're okay. What we want as shamans is for them to go to the spirit world. We want them to go. And so we do offerings so they can have enough energy and currency to get the hell out of here, to go. We want them to go to the best possible place they can go. We don't want them to be stuck because the way you die is what determines where you go to and how you go. Yeah, he can't move forward until he finds him. And he's not in this room. I told him, I said, this man is not in this room. I know it. And he said, I don't care. He want to give the information because maybe he knows that somebody in this room knows his son. That's the thing. But it might be somebody who don't know him that well, because if he was separated from his father, the son probably really don't know his father. And that's the problem. That's the whole problem. But maybe he's hoping, just like we all hope, right? Like just like a lot of people on this live right now are hoping their ancestor comes in. It's the same thing. It's like he's hoping that he can get that message to that person. And oh, what do you mean the way they died, where they go? Like, so for instance, this man, he died with this big regret, like that he couldn't connect with his son before he died. So he's waiting for a connection. He's waiting for that to resolve so he can fully transition out of here. So I hope that makes sense. So if someone died in a tragedy, it's harder to transition. That's why they say sudden death, suicide, died before their time, like that kind of stuff. We want to do extra prayers, extra ceremony, extra rituals, extra healing so that they don't become stuck. And then also the person left behind, the people left behind, they can heal faster. Because the difference between shamanism and like Western ideology and theology is that in the West, everybody wants their spirits around them. You know what I mean? They want them around them. But in shamanism and in indigenous cultures, we don't want our spirits around us because we know that then it can cause physical sickness. It can cause harm to not only us, but them. It's a dance. It's a two-way street. And so we work on offerings and blessings and we put up that boundary, that altar, so that we know they're in the spirit world now. So you adjust to the spirit world, you go into the spirit world, and let's help you heal the reason you're stuck. Like if we could find this man's son, he could go, he could, transition out of here. How do you know they are stuck? Because they'll tell you, you will know. you know, it's hard to explain, but you will know by their presence, the way they look, and you will know. There's different levels of stuck though. They're not really like stuck like you think they're stuck. They're in between. They're waiting at the door and they're hoping that they can resolve whatever it is they need to resolve before they can leave. They can go. My stepson was Paiute and unalived himself, and my daughter wanted to see a picture to show her husband. Shoes on the electric line. Yeah, the shoes on the electric line means someone's stuck on the line. They need more currency, more energy. Because in the afterworld, you need currency and energy. That's why we do offerings, and that's why we do spirit paper money, you know, the ancestor money. That's why we do these certain rituals to give them currency to fully transition, to go. You know, some people call it the Mictlan, that's the Aztec word for it. Some people call it nirvana, that's the Buddhist word for it. You know, we call it heaven, but there are multiple places you can go. If you can go to multiple galaxies, multiple planets, you can go, you know, to the underworld, you can go to be a demigod, you could go to be a goddess, you know, there's so many places. And when you study indigenous cosmology or shamanic cosmology, and it doesn't matter where you go to Egyptian, you could go to Tibet, you could go to wherever, you will learn about these different dimensions and worlds. And so for me, I was trained to go in and out of 12 dimensions. And that's what I teach. I teach 13 dimensions because we're in this world, but ultimately I know 12 dimensions. There are many more, but that's what I specialize and work within. And one of those dimensions is this dimension, which is the afterlife, is the spirit world. And the spirits that I called in today, if you weren't on the live earlier, were the ones that are as close as I can get to the closest door. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but it's the ones that are the most easiest to contact. Because when we start getting further and further away, and like say they died 1,000 years ago, that's a different door. I'm trying to get to the closest in this world, right? So a lot of the spirits that were coming in is like a connection to 1973, 1953. They're closer to our time. That's what I'm talking about. They're closer to our time. We put a picture of them and put offerings. Yeah. And the kind of offerings you're going to put are the things they like, not the things you like. They don't like what you like, okay? The things they like. So if they like to drink whiskey, you put some whiskey down. They like cigars, you put some cigars down. If they like certain treats and food, you put that down. And that's how you do it. When I entered the room and held up picture on the wall, flew down and hit floor. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times they'll do that too. They'll just let you know the presence is there. No, it depends. Do they come sometimes or always there? You would hope that they're not always there, but they'll come around you maybe sometimes, especially like, you know, when, okay, so for instance, their death date or their birth date, they're going to be around you stronger. That's why grief is harder when it's their birth date or death date, because they're there. They're going to come. They're going to make sure you're okay. They're, you know, it's like you're grieving together. You just don't see them. But, you know, there's certain days when you feel them more, and there's certain days you don't feel them at all. It's because their presence is coming in and through. And their spirit, they're coming and they're going. Yeah, let's see here. Let me get to some of these questions. Do spirits ever reach out to you to help them? Yes, just like this man. But you know, they come all the time. Part of the work that I do is not with just the living. A big part of the work I do is with the non-living, with the spirit world. And a lot of times I will have to stop at certain places. Like for instance, I was driving cross country and they told me to go down this dark road and in the middle of nowhere. And it was kind of scary. And they said, you know, when you go to this road, it's going to be obvious why you're going there. And I stopped where they told me to stop, and I looked over, and it was one of those those, like, when somebody died, like 21 people died in this location, and they had all the offerings and the, we call it, the crosses and the whole thing. And I had a bunch of food with me and a bunch of supplies and stuff, and I gave something to every single person in that graveyard thing. And that's part of the work, is that we work with the living and the non-living. So yeah, a lot of times spirit will have me doing all kinds of weird stuff, and I won't know why until I get there. Because of they passed, I feel like his soul is not at peaceful, like there's unfinished business on earth. Yeah. So what you want to do in that particular situation is you want to do I can't talk now, ancestor altar. You want to do an altar just for that person and give them some currency and give them some love, and ask them to be at peace. Ask them, and keep doing it until you feel that they're peace. When you're talking about something like that, it's a harder death, and there's a lot more emotions and feelings and things, and it takes longer for those people to transition. And that's why I said earlier, it's very important how they die. And sometimes if they died too young and unexpected or something like that, or then they get into the afterlife and they're like, dang, I have some unfinished business. That's part of the process. One of the stages you go through in the afterlife is your life review. In some religions, they call it purgatory. That's what purgatory is. Purgatory is the life review. It's the place you go and you look at what your life was, who you helped, who you hurt, what kind of life you lived, and you have to go through everything you did in this lifetime. And that takes a long time to get through. And so sometimes with the way that they die, it determines how long they go through that process. Can we offer what we have? Yes. No, you don't have to do a catered feast. You offer water and something simple. You go with what you can offer. It's just the fact that you're offering something. It's not about the money. It's not about, because, like in these times, a lot of people don't have the money to do a big feast or something. So you just offer what you can. Everybody can offer water, at least one small glass of water. Can we go to those places, I think places in our dreams? Are you talking about the dimensions? Okay, so somebody over here, I'm gonna go to my YouTube, sorry. Asked, what happens when someone is murdered? Yeah, I can't see. Okay, it's okay. What happens when somebody's murdered? It depends on the spirit, it depends on the soul, it depends on the person. If they can find peace with that murder and they can forgive and let go, if they're that type of person, because who you are in the spirit world is exactly who you are in this world. And then they can find peace and move on. But if you're vengeful, then you're gonna haunt the earth looking for that person who murdered you. If you it just depends on the person, so it's hard to say. Some people get over things faster than others. It's the same thing in the spirit world. Some people get over it faster than others, and some people hold on to it and want revenge and want to torture that person until those people, those people in life, they will say that, I'm going to come back and haunt you. Yeah. So it just depends. Not all murdered people, are stuck. Just like all people who committed suicide are not stuck. It depends. You could have been a very old person who died peacefully in your sleep and still be stuck. It has nothing to do with, it has something to do with the way you died, but it has more to do with who you are as a person and spirit. Hello, Terry on YouTube. So I hope that makes sense, Michelle. But yeah, like say you were terribly murdered or something and you want that person to be caught, you might stick around longer. You might go to mediums and you might try to, find the people who will help you to resolve that case, and then you can pass through the light. You can go home. And we'll talk about afterlife stuff. That's a long conversation. Oh, but somebody over here on TikTok asked if you can go to those dimensions in the dream time. It depends if you have that gift. Not everybody has that ability and gift. But if you're a vivid dreamer, a lucid dreamer, somebody who's connected, you most definitely can. My daughter came in today. I was so sad and crying. I was trying to figure out why today. Yeah, yeah. See, that's kind of how you know spirits are around you. You'll feel them. And it's interesting. You were the one who said you didn't know why you were here, right? And then see, are there ever language barriers for you? Yeah. And you know what? The thing about it, the spirit world, though, the cool thing about language stuff is you don't have to speak the same language to connect to the spirit. It will be harder, though, to identify names and places. Like for me, I'm not of European descent, so it's hard for me sometimes when European ancestors come in because I can't properly identify them. I will say, this, and this, but it doesn't come out real easy for me because it's not a cultural reference I have. Whereas if somebody comes in from Native or Korean or Mexican or something like that, I have more of a cultural reference for that. But they'll still come in. They'll still come in. I connect to spirits all over the world. And so it really doesn't matter because they'll find a way to communicate. They'll communicate through symbols. And that's why to be a really good medium and shaman, you have to know symbology. You have to study it. You have to know mythology. You have to know the spirit world because spirit world connects to us through messages and symbols. And that's the language of spirit. And that's why your dreams are like that. You know how your dreams are always like all over the place, but they'll have symbols and messages. Wow, thank you for your work. Must be lots of energy. Yeah, it is. It is a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy. And that's why you have to have a disciplined, strong practice to get you through that energy. When I first started my shamanic healing practice, I didn't know that. And I burned myself out. I would be burnt out because I would take things from people and not properly release them. And then I would be stuck with it until I learned how to do these proper protocols so I don't like burn myself out. I don't get sick. I don't do that. I haven't had a cold or anything in over 10 years because of those protocols that I do. But in the beginning, yes, I was not, I was making all kinds of mistakes. I moved in a house where an old couple died, but I had dreamt of them before we bought. I think that's something. And that's why you have to do a cleansing before you buy a house or before you move into a house. Oh, okay. So somebody on YouTube is saying that the person that was murdered was found guilty of first degree. And I'm sure that that person, you know, helped to find that, to make sure that was done. Yeah. Some people have told me I'm intuitive, but how come my intuition is wrong a lot? Is because you haven't broken your human mind, you're still in your human mind. When you let go of your human mind, your spiritual mind will come in and you'll never be wrong. I hope everyone likes whiskey. I have lots of that. Yes, lots of whiskey to offer. How do I get a reading? You can get a reading by clicking the link in my bio. I offer private readings. We always ask why it happened, but no answer. What can I do for his dad? Do an offering. Do an offering. We'll do one on live. I'll do an ancestral healing. I'll show you. I'll show you a little bit. I'll show you the basics. You're going to do one more, trying to see if I should put my kids to bed. Oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna do one more. I got into the questions. Okay, so we'll do one more. That's what happens in my dreams. That's why I'm asking and trying to understand. Yeah, you need to develop that user 3605116. You need to develop that. If that's happening in your dreams, you got to ask and you got to learn to meditate and pray and do offerings. What does it mean when you dream you're part of Native American ceremonies, but you're not Native? They have a connection, and the spirits don't care if you're Native or not. They only work with people that they want to work with. I inherited that gift through my grandpa, but he's misusing the gift. What happens if you're misusing? Karma. You don't have to worry about somebody else doing what they're doing. You only worry about what you're doing. You can do a healing for us. Yeah. What kind of healing? Right now, see, every day I'm doing something different. So if you come on my YouTube or my TikTok, every day is going to be something different. So today I told everybody I was going to be doing these spirit guided medium readings. And then, every day will be different. I'll have a schedule, but I kind of want to leave it somewhat flowing too. But just tune in. Whatever live is for you, you'll join in. Monday, I'll probably do more healing work because we're going to talk about meditation. And I think I'm going to, do some clearings and things like that. But the purpose of this live is that the whole thing is a healing. This is the healing room. So just being in this room, you're receiving a healing. And it's people who are drawn and called to this room for a reason, for a message, for a thing. Even if you're not getting a direct message, there's something here for you. And that's why you're called here, and that's why you're staying here. I was gifted a red feather in a dream. Does that have a certain meaning? That's the ancestors. Red is the ancestors. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do one more reading. I'm going to bring in one more spirit. We'll see if it's hit or miss. We don't know. I'm going to ask for a spirit for somebody that's here that we can connect to. Okay. Yeah, red is the color of the ancestors. I'm going to clear that. And clear YouTube, clear TikTok. All right. Okay, so I have a spirit who came in. First thing was it's a mother. She lived in and around the California area. She also gave me Oxnard. So I don't know if she had a connection there or if she lived there or something like that. And then she showed me farmlands. Like maybe she or somebody in her family worked is in the farmlands in agriculture. She appears to be Mexican or of Hispanic descent. And she gave me 2 months. One is February, one is November. And she's looking for her daughter. So if that resonates with anybody in this room, let me know. The first one, mother, California, LA area, Oxnard. I'm not sure how far Oxnard is from LA. And she was connected to the farmlands. She had Mexican or Hispanic descent. Has 2 connections to 2 months of February and November, and she is looking for her daughter. Your husband's grandmother? Grandmother. She have a daughter? Do you have a connection to Oxnard? Do you know if it's Oxnard, a place? I'm not connected to I know. Where's Oxnard? Is that the right word? Oxnard? Okay, let me see if I can bring in more information. She's looking for a daughter though. Okay, so do either of you know if the woman you're thinking of has a daughter? Your aunt lived in Oxnard doing farming. Okay. Does she have a daughter? And you live in LA. Okay. Okay, it's in Southern California. Okay, but you have an Oxnard. Does she have a daughter? Your mom lost her mom, but does she have those? Is that okay? Let's not try to make it fit. Does it fit? Mother, California, LA, Oxnard, you live there. Oxnard, connected to the farmlands. Either she worked there or her family worked in the farms. She's Mexican or Hispanic descent. She had the 2 months of February and November. So those could be her death dates or her birth dates or the daughter. So those months have to fit somewhere. And then she had a daughter she's looking for. Does that fit, Ermi? Your mother-in-law's mom. So what is that? Does she have an Oxnard connection? There's not too much info for me to confirm. What does that mean? Do you not know her stuff? Does she have a daughter? She's looking for a daughter. That's the one thing she's really like. Let me see. Hold on. Let me clear the air. Okay, she's like really highlighting that there's something wrong. There's something about this daughter connection. So she's showing me all kinds of scenes of her and her daughter cooking, making food together, laughing. They were super close. They're super close. Your husband's grandma, but it has to fit. Does your husband's grandma she had a daughter? Did he have a sister who she was super close to? Like it was like her everything, her mija. And she lived in they have a California, LA, Oxnard connection, farmlands. Yeah, they came over as migrant workers. It looked like almost the whole family or most of the family work in the fields. Okay, that's not you. Yeah, it's a daughter. So did anybody, they all did? Okay, that's you then. Yeah, I think it's you, Z. Yeah, it's you. So who is this? This is your mother-in-law's mom? Yeah, and then you said she died in November. Yeah, she's saying it's you. My mother-in-law, your mother-in-law. Okay, let me think about this. Sorry. Your mother-in-law, mother. Is that what you're saying? Your mother-in-law's mother? So that's what, a grandmother? Your husband's mom's mom. So your husband's grandmother? And that, okay, yeah, then that's her daughter she's looking for, is your husband's mother. Okay, I see. Okay, yeah, she's like really misses her daughter. Like, it's another one. Let's see. Okay. All right, let me see what she's gonna say. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so she's showing me, I don't know if her daughter does this or if she did this, but she's lighting a candle to Guadalupe. And I feel like the message is like, don't lose faith, because she knows how hard her passing has been on her daughter. And she wants to know that, like, every time you light a candle to Guadalupe, she's there and she's like with her. So don't, the message she really wants to say is like, she will never forget her. Like, there's no way that just because she's not in the physical world anymore, that bond, that connection is lost. That's the real message she like is trying to get through. And I think I'm saying it sloppy, but she's saying that she doesn't want her daughter to feel lost without her presence in this world. And that she wants her to know that when she's lighting a candle, when she's doing her, when she's like in those moments of lost faith and lost trust, that their memories are so strong and so close and so vivid that they'll never lose their connection. Because I feel like what she's telling me is that her daughter feels like she's lost her connection to her mother, and that she wants her to know that she's never going to lose that connection, that she's in the spirit world now helping her, and she's going to continue to help her until she can what she says is till she could fly. So I don't, it feels like a very close relationship. It feels like, you know, her daughter's very much struggling with her absence. Does that make sense? So that was the last reading for the night. Yeah. So does anybody have any questions about anything we did tonight or the afterworld? And you can just pass that on to her about that. Oh, the stillness. Yes, thank you, Nicole. I do private readings, and Nicole has participated in some pretty cool stuff. Because Nicole actually came to me at the right time because I was still in Sedona and doing my ceremonies. You want to know how to communicate with your ancestors more? You want to start an ancestor practice, and you want to give what do you call it? Offerings. See, I'm already starting to lose my energy. So I'm starting to lose my words. Sorry, because I've been in this world and that world a little too long right now. So that means like already I'm starting to, you know, yeah, offerings. Thanks, Sandra. I'm starting to fade, guys. I'm starting to fade. I'm starting to fade. My energy is fading. Fading away, fading away. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, stick around. I'll teach more of that stuff. You know, that's not like an easy thing to answer either, because there's a process to connecting to the ancestors. And some people will have to work harder than others. That's just the reality of it. Some people It's very easy. You just do a very few simple things and boom, 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 boom. And then other people, it's like nothing, nothing, nothing. It's all about you, your gift, your connection, what you do. Yeah. Thank you. And you make perfect sense and explain things well. Oh, thank you. Yeah, good to see you. Good night, Songbird Grandmother. Good night, Sandra. How do I book? Is there a link? Yes, there's a link in my bio. If you go to my page, my profile, you'll see the link in the bio. It's a beacons page, and I have all my offerings there. You can also go to my website, SongBirdGrandMother.com. Well, I've been doing this a very long time. I've been doing readings since I was 3, and I've been training on as a shaman for over 20 years. And I also have a master's degree in ancient philosophy and religion, where my focus was on shamanism around the world. So I try, but it's not perfect. And so that's my website. But yeah, if you're interested in reading, you can book that way. Yeah. And every Saturday, my goal, as many Saturdays as I can. There are gonna be, times I can't get on. But every Saturday I'll try to do something with mediumship. And eventually I want to work up to doing like some ancestral healings or things. I will try to offer stuff every day. I'm offering something different. So Monday we're going to do meditation Monday. Valentine's Day I'm going to do Valentine's Day love candle blessings, because that's also part of my work. Is I do blessings for people to help them to manifest whatever it is they're working on, or clearing or healing, that kind of stuff. Okay. Well, thank you, Michelle, on YouTube. I'm glad everybody on YouTube joined in, and on TikTok. And thank you so much, Sandra, and everybody who got a reading. I hope that helps you and that you find peace and harmony. And I hope that spirit finds his son. You just never know what's going to happen. Just never know. But I will be back on tomorrow for Sunday. I don't know how many people will be on, because I just realized it's going to be like the Super Bowl or something. But if you want to come on and hang out with me tomorrow at 8 o'clock, I'll be here. But until we meet again, many blessings and have a great night. Oh, I'm so glad you came on, Happy. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.